Why did America get involved in World War One? Although America's involvement in World War One on the side of the Allies now seems inevitable, it was by no means so certain at the time. America's decision to enter the war on the Allied side was rooted in a complex mixture of historical and contemporary reasons. First was the persistent cultural and economic ties to Britain and France. Second, Britain's efforts to entangle America, and third was progressive interest in spreading democratic institutions. America hadn't intended to fight originally, but step by step they were dragged in. First, the economic and cultural ties to England and France. It's the start of America because it started as an English colony, but it was helped in the American Revolution by France. By 1914, America had no longer a majority of English, and Germans were a close second. According to the president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, quote, "The people of the United States are drawn from many nations and chiefly from the nations now at war," unquote. The Irish were also against helping Britain, and at best they were ambiguous about the idea. But the French's early support left a lasting impact. When John Pershing, an American general, arrived in Paris in the summer of 1917, he went to the tomb of the Marquis de Lafayette, who helped train American soldiers during the Revolutionary War. He showed why that even though the U.S. was reluctant for war, they had many reasons, and that they were serious about it. They were also helped. They also relied on England and France for trade, and they didn't want to fight against their money suppliers. Their involvement was also helped by English descent, those of English descent wanting to be proud of their heritage, like everyone else was, and wanting to help their own country because of this. Secondly, British propaganda. The effects of British propaganda to drag America into the war. The main example of this was atrocity propaganda, because they had very few facts. Germans used a process called Kataverwurtungsstandstall, but the British tried using the seeming connection to cadavering to make it seem like it was done on their dead soldiers. This was a problem later, too, because these false stories, quote, encouraged later disbelief when early reports circulated about the Holocaust under Hitler, unquote, according to Randy Marlin, because Hitler did it, even if it previously hadn't. Second was the sinking of the Lusitania. By 1918, Germany had all but starved and had resorted to using submarines on merchant ships to counter Britain's blockade. They eventually agreed to diminish civilian bloodshed in this with the Sussex Pledge. However, this broke down over time and was eventually essentially ignored. The Lusitania wasn't the first time, but it was what the British spread propaganda about. And another factor was that when a telegram was intercepted from Germany to Mexico and decoded by the British, Britain made all of the USA know about it. And finally, progressives sought to expand their ideas and ideals worldwide. Woodrow Wilson was a progressive and a historian. He believed in Whig history. This is best defined by Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote that, quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice," unquote. He believed in himself. Woodrow Wilson believed in himself and that the world was heading better off because of it. His views on the war changed throughout his presidency because of this. At the start, he started against the war. He tried to continue straight through the difficult decisions so as to remain neutral. However, as time went on, he saw it as an opportunity to spread progressivism around the world. He thought that by doing so, he was spreading an opportunity for justice. In his war message to Congress, Woodrow Wilson decided that the U.S. needed to be a justice keeper of the world. He saw an opportunity to make Europe a new America and did his best to fulfill that opportunity. He took progressive views and turned them into a foreign policy that was only possible to fulfill by siding with the Allies. So his progressive worldview, as well as British propaganda and America's persistent cultural and economic ties with Britain and France, led to America joining the Allies in World War I. Thank you.